You know what? Recently, I sat down with my journal and I had a moment of clarity. Have you ever just had a moment of clarity where you realize every single relationship in your life, past and present, has shaped you in many ways you never saw coming? I did. That was my moment of clarity. And honestly, journaling about my connections has taught me more about myself than some of my biggest breakups, my closest friendships, or even some love stories. I'm a wife, mother, and a woman on a mission, reclaiming my power, passion, and my peace in this next chapter of life. If you spent years pouring yourself into your family and now wonder, who am I? You're in the right place. This channel is our safe space to rise, rebuild, and rediscover ourselves with confidence, grace, laughter, and more importantly, with God. Some red flags, green flags, heartbreaks, yellow flags, purple flags, whatever you want to call it, boundaries, and the joys of that I've seen along the way. And hopefully, this can help you uncover something new about your own relationships as well. So let me ask you, have you ever ignored a red flag? Well, I had a habit of ignoring context clues of when people are being genuine versus making me the butt of their joke. Yeah, deep down, I knew something wasn't right because I've had those moments too where I felt like maybe I'm overreacting. And looking back, that little red flag turned into one of my biggest lessons. Let me tell you, and I say this to my girls, trust what you see the first time. You see those red flags popping out, trust it. Because red flags, they aren't no mystery. It's not a puzzle you need to solve to figure it out. Like, is this a red flag? They are red, meaning you can see them very well. They're signs of misalignment. Green flags, they matter just as much. Green flags brings out, or you can see kindness, consistency, and you feel safe. So green flags can be a sign of alignment when you connecting with someone, when you align with someone, when that person should be, a part of your journey or your tribe. I learned that listening to my gut and allowing God to be my guide saves me a whole lot of heartache. And I tell my kids all the time, allow God to be your guide. And if it don't feel right and it don't look right, that means it's probably not right for you. Because for someone else, it may be okay. But if it does not align with who you are and where you're going, it's not right for you. So I wrote in my journal and I asked myself, what red flags am I ignoring right now? And what green flags do I need to celebrate? So let me tell you, some of the red flags I feel like, just a transparent moment, I feel like that I'm ignoring is opportunities for people to show up for me and they don't. I give them excuses or reasons why they shouldn't or why they couldn't. But those are some red flags that I've been ignoring. And what green flags do I need to celebrate more? I need to celebrate the green flags of people just genuinely wanting to see me win, whether they show up all the time or not, but genuinely wanting to see me win and checking in just to see if I'm good. Because everybody has a life and life be lifing. But when you get someone that will just kind of poke their head in to check on you, you need to celebrate those people and those relationships. So let me ask you, what's one green flag you look for in a relationship? One that I look for is most certainly kindness. Like kindness goes a long way with me. And sometimes you don't get that kindness. But when you looking at friendships, sometimes friendships expire. When people don't show up the way you need them to, sometimes it just comes to an end. I have relationships that I love deeply. Like I really genuinely love those relationships and friendships. But at some point, it just didn't fit who I was becoming or who I was at the time. And letting go, it was extremely hard. But I can tell you, keeping it left me with questions and a lot of insecurities of asking myself about where I am and where I was going in the season that I was in my life. It made me question myself more. And I felt like or realized this is not it. And honestly, every friend is not meant to go the full distance. That doesn't mean that it's a failure. It doesn't mean that you hate each other. It just means growth, whether it's growth for you or growth for them. Some people are seasonal teachers, not lifelong companions. So we got to realize when people are in our life for a season, reason, or a lifetime, and we all play that role in somebody's life for those very same reasons. So we're not always in somebody's life for a lifetime. There's always a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And sometimes we just got to be moved, or God got to move us, or we move us. There's, we may stop it, they may stop it, but we have to know the who, the what, the where, and the why when it comes to relationships. Don't hold on to a relationship past the expiration date, because when you release what's expired, you make room for connections that actually align. So that week in my journal, I wrote, who do I feel lighter around? Who drains me? What is friendship teaching me about change? Sometimes you have to ask yourself questions so that you can reevaluate where you are. And sometimes we have to purge ourselves and our lives of the people, places, and things that don't serve us and that we no longer serve. Have you ever had to let go of a friendship you outgrew? I have, as I just mentioned. And let me tell you, it's not easy. It's not easy being in that situation. But sometimes you just have to set boundaries so that you can keep your self-respect. And sometimes we just have to show people how to treat us. There was a time that I would stay silent just to avoid conflict. Sometimes something that was said or done would bother me, and I wouldn't speak of it. I wouldn't speak up for myself. I was showing people then it was okay to treat me a certain way. Every time I said nothing, I walked away feeling deflated, frustrated with myself, and resentment was building up. That's when it really hit me. Boundaries aren't about shutting people out. It's not just about shutting people out. They're about protecting yourself. And I had to protect me. So I had this conversation with my oldest. I just had this conversation with her. And I had to tell her to set boundaries for herself. And you don't need to communicate them. So you don't need to shout it to the rooftop. You put them in place for your protection. So set your boundaries, because boundaries honor your energy. Boundaries teach people how to treat you. And boundaries, they're not rejection. They're just self-respect. So sometimes we get caught in this space of, because we don't like being rejected, we try not to reject people. It doesn't always have to look like rejection. It's just boundaries being set in place for you. And in my journal, I wrote, am I speaking up for myself when necessary? How did a boundary change my peace this month? So let me ask you, what was one boundary you set that completely shifted your peace? One for me is really knowing when to say something is bothering me. Sometimes people just don't know. Like, they just don't know genuinely that something is bothering you. And you're walking away feeling deflated and feeling disappointed. And all you needed to do is speak up for yourself. So tell me again, what's one boundary you set that completely shifted your peace? Let me tell you, that is what makes the beauty of sisterhood and finding your tribe so important. As women, we're often taught to compete with each other instead of connect. But the moment I've experienced true sisterhood, women cheering me on, holding space, sharing wisdom, that's when I felt the most powerful. And that is why we are here today. That is why the Women Revealed is in existence. It's about praying each other through the tough times, holding space to express, and cheering each other on in every win, whether it seems big or small to others. We're going to celebrate them all. Sisterhood reminds me that you're not alone. We're here. A real tribe calls out the best in you. Competition divides, but collaboration, it multiplies. And we are here to be fruitful and multiply. I know that scripture was a direct command to Adam and Eve to have children and to fill the earth. But we, Women Revealed, we will be fruitful and multiply. We will help each other birth the dreams that God has placed inside of us, because I believe it can carry a deeper meaning of producing spiritual fruit by following God's will for our lives. So one morning, my journal asked me, who's in my tribe? How do I help other women rise? What does sisterhood mean to me now at this stage? So you are in my tribe, and I'm helping women rise by sharing my story and my journey and helping others walk it out as well. So sisterhood to me now just having a different meaning from when I was younger. Now sisterhood is someone who can help me reach the next level, whether through prayer, a kind word, or just moral support. So tell me, what qualities do you value in most sisterhood? I would overall say love. Love because it has taught me a lot. Friendships and relationships. It's shown me how I should show up for people, family, friends, and it also showed me how family, friends, relationships should show up for me. But most of all, I think love taught me how to show up for myself, because how I love myself today, that sets the tone for how others love me. So if I'm not loving myself, if I'm not showing up for myself, then why would other people show up for me, right? I think love is truly a mirror. In 1 Corinthians 13, 4 through 8, it says love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy, and it does not boast. It's not proud, it does not dishonor others, it's not self-seeking, it's not easily angered, it keeps no record of wrong. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, it always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. So if you feel like you are failing yourself, to me, that means you're not showing up like you should when it comes to loving yourself. Love is work, and sometimes we may feel like we're not doing our part, but it should never be one-sided. Love requires balance. It's giving and receiving. You give a little, you take a little. You give a little, you take a little. If you are in a space where you're giving, 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 or taking, 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 you need to reevaluate that space that you're in, because I don't know if that's a real true form of how love should be showing up. So when I feel lost in love, take to the journal and I say, Dear Journal, what is love teaching me right now? And how am I loving myself better this week? So sometimes you got to talk to your journal. You got to ask it questions and reevaluate and know that love is teaching me how to show up for the ones that need me to show up for them. And I'm loving myself better by setting my boundaries and by exceeding my limits of what I can give out versus what I receive. No one, I mean no one, should be pouring from an empty cup. So if you feel like yourself feeling empty, stop. Just stop and go and get refueled. Go where you can be refueled, whether it's this community, whether it's another community, whether it's to church, wherever. You go and get refueled. Stop pouring out if you are not feeling filled yourself. If you are pouring from an empty cup, stop. I want to know from you, what is the biggest lesson that love has taught you so far? Love has taught me that it's okay. It's okay to love myself while loving others, because there is a way to love without losing yourself. I had to learn. I'm still learning. So I'm still in that phase of learning how to continue to love myself without losing myself. Because if I'm not good, then I can't show up and be good for others. And I used to think love meant just pouring everything into something or someone, even if I was left empty myself. But I've learned real love doesn't drain you. It doesn't. Real love allows you to stay whole even in the moments where you feel broken or you may even feel drained. Love helps you recover because God is love. God is love. So if you find yourselves in situations or lost in love where you're feeling drained and not being refueled, newsflash, I'm here to tell you that is not love. Call it whatever you wish, but love, it is not. So when you love yourself first, it allows you to set the tone and set healthy boundaries for others to love you. I know a lot of us have probably not loved ourselves first, but it's never too late. It's never too late to start. And sometimes us not loving ourselves, more likely than not, it opened that door for us to shrink. True love doesn't ask you to shrink. Balance is what keep love alive. It's not always sacrifice. I've heard and I've also been told myself to sacrifice myself for some things pertaining to love, pertaining to relationships, friendships. When that's not the answer. I'm telling you, that is not the answer. Yes, there will be times of compromise and a little sacrifice, but the answer is setting your boundaries, speaking up for yourself, and loving on yourself and helping to create balance in the person or people lives that you choose to love and that choose to love you. So whenever I feel myself fading, I have to ask myself, do I feel whole right now? How am I showing up for my own needs while loving others? And I ask the same of you, because sometimes you have to ask yourself those questions. In certain relationships, you have to make sure you don't lose yourself in the process of loving and needing and wanting to be loved. How do you make sure you don't lose yourself in love? I'm learning more, but I'm still growing in this area. To just take a moment for myself. There was times where I would squeeze a minute in for that person, this person, but never, ever, ever could seem to find just one moment for myself. That is not how you show up for yourself in love. With that being said, showing gratitude for people in your life is also important, including showing gratitude to yourself. We tend to spend a lot of time on beating ourselves up and focusing on what's missing in our relationships and how we're not showing up how we need to, or how people are not showing up for us, that we honestly forget to honor the people who actually show up for us. There are people out there that show up for us and we feel like we don't deserve it. So we don't show the gratitude that we should. But I think we need to take a pause, take a moment, and actually show gratitude to those people and give honor to those people that are showing up for us. And because we don't give the gratitude, sometimes we just have to stop. And sometimes we have to shift ourselves, shift our mindset, and not always focus on the things that are negative, but the things that are positive as well. Gratitude shifts everything. So this week, I want you to take the time and I want you to try this. I want you to down one person who's been consistent in your life. Reflect on one lesson a past relationship taught you. Share your gratitude with someone. Even a simple text can go a long way. If you have a journal, I want you to ask yourselves these questions. Who held me up this week? What connection am I thankful for? And if you're not journaling, I really want you to start. It will help you during these times of growth. We're on a journey, ladies. We're on a journey. We're on a journey to reveal the woman that's inside of us, the core, the being of who God created us to be. We're on a journey to rebuild that woman, to rebrand ourselves. So let's pause right here. I want you to think of who is one person you're grateful for today. I'm going to share. I'm grateful for my little cousin slash friend slash a confidant who has her own life, but she still finds time to check in with me. So I'm putting it out there. I want to know from you, who are you grateful for today? Relationships shape us, but journaling helps us really see what they're teaching us. We can look back at what we documented, all the things that we documented, all the things that are happening in the moments we feel like we're not giving our best or even requiring the best from other people. We can look back at those moments, reflect and reevaluate and readjust. So this week, I invite you to pick one prompt. Write it down and see what comes up for you. When you're done, I want you to share it. Share it in the comments. Let's grow together. Let's walk through this together. We're on this journey together. This tribe is here for you. We want to see you reveal that woman inside that has been hiding deep inside. If you like what you hear, if you like what you've heard, please stop, subscribe. If you like the energy, please like the video, comment. We are grateful. I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for you being here. I'm grateful for you listening. Please come back and tune in for the next time.
She's revealed, she's redeemed.